Importance of India, Maldives and Sri Lanka trilateral exercise Dosti. For many years after it was first launched in 1991, these exercises were bilateral, involving the Indian and the Maldives Coast Guards. In 2012, however, Sri Lanka joined these exercises for the first time. The 15th edition of the biennial trilateral Coast Guard exercise Dosti involving India, Maldives and Sri Lanka is underway in the Maldives. 2021 marks 30 years since these exercises were first launched. Indian Coast Guard vessels, the ICGS Vajra and ICGS Apurva joined the Sri Lankan Coast Guard. SLG CGS Suraksha for the 5-day exercise that started on November 20 and will conclude today. In a statement, the Indian High Commission in the Maldives said the aim of India Maldives Sri Lanka trilateral exercise Dosti is to further fortify the friendship, enhance mutual cooperation, operational capability and exercise interoperability, and to build cooperation between the coast guards of Maldives, India and Sri Lanka. Both the Maldives and Sri Lanka are of strategic importance to New Delhi and to its maritime security interests. Why this is important? India does not have these kinds of military exercises with other countries. Sometimes it is multilateral, sometimes it is trilateral. For many years these exercises were bilateral, said Dr. Gulbin Sultana, research analyst at the Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defense Studies and Analysis, whose area of research includes the Maldives. For many years after it was first launched in 1991, these exercises were bilateral, involving the Indian and Maldives Coast Guards. In 2012, however, Sri Lanka joined the exercises for the first time, and since then it has been a trilateral exercise. These exercises help during joint operations and missions undertaken by countries and also help enhance interoperability, Dr. Sultana told IndianExpress.com. Although piracy is not a major issue in this part of the Indian Ocean, these kinds of exercises also help coast guards with training for possibilities. What it involves? The scope of these exercises are wide-ranging. If there is a maritime accident or if there is an ecological disaster like an oil spill, sometimes the coast guard of one nation cannot tackle it alone, she explained. These exercises help develop a better understanding of the other nation's coast guard operations and how to enhance coordination during different kinds of missions. Maritime security is a kind of thing where one needs cooperation and one nation. One coast guard cannot do much, Dr. Sultana explained. There are limitations and regulations involving international law, for instance, the exclusive economic zones EEZ. Then there is a continental shelf which also has specific rules. Under international law, as stated in Article 76 of the Law of the Sea Convention, this maritime zone consists of the seabed and subsoil that extend to outer edge of the continental margin or to a distance of 200 nautical miles if the outer edge of the continental margin does not extend up to that distance. According to a document issued by the US State Department, the continental shelf and exclusive economic zone are distinct maritime zones. The extended continental shelf is not an extension of the EEZ, the document states. Some of the sovereign rights that a coastal state may exercise is EEZ, especially rights to the resources of the water column. There are various provisions and clauses that state the circumstances in which a nation can enter these zones in waters of other nations, and joint exercises help with developing an understanding of the specific. Dr. Sultana said, the country joins when there are common threats in the Indian Ocean. At the time, interoperability is important. Security context. In August this year, during a virtual meeting of top security officials, India, Sri Lanka and Maldives agreed to work on what they call 4 pillars of security cooperation. These involve the areas of marine security, human trafficking, counter-terrorism and cyber security. 9 months prior to this meeting in August, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval had visited Colombo for deliberations with Secretary to Sri Lanka's Ministry of Defence Kamal Gonrate and Defense Minister of the Maldives Maria Didi, during which the three nations had agreed to expand the scope of intelligence sharing. This meeting between the three top security officials was important because it had marked the revival of NSA level trilateral talks on maritime security in the Indian Ocean regions after 6 years. The NSA level maritime security cooperation is important for relations between India and the Maldives and India and Sri Lanka. It is always better if the navies of the three countries understand how they each operate. So this is why these exercises are important. Diplomatic context. These exercises come at a time when the Defense Minister of the Maldives, Maria Didi, is on a 6-day visit to India. Didi will be on the first Foreign Defense Minister review, the passing out parade at the Indian Naval Academy. India's High Commissioner to the Maldives, Munu Mahawar, met with Didi prior to her departure. Didi's visit to India comes 2 days after Mahawar met with Didi to discuss bilateral ties between India and the Maldives. During her visit in India, Didi will also be meeting with Maldives National Defense Force personnel undergoing training in India. The High Commission of India in the Maldives had said during Didi's visit there may be discussions with her counterparts on enhancing security and defense cooperation, said Dr. Sultana. Thank you.